Hello everybody. Most people think about lectures in colleges and universities as these boring talks by professors next to a blackboard. Is that what you think? Get ready, because after watching this, you're going to change your mind.
I think that it's different in that it helps the students to think not only about how they present in a classroom, but how they present in real life. So we had students think about deliberative public spaces and how the city parks work as a way to encourage citizens to speak to each other. But we also had students think about their actualized public speech. So places where they could speak, different types of subjects they might want to speak upon, and then also celebratory events. So the students were looking at the final project that they produced for the class. And so it started out, they reimagined the space between the library and the vertical campus, and we gave them Legos to think about how they would place things like benches to encourage people to speak to each other. So they first presented that model in class as a Lego model, and they thought about how they would walk around it and present it. But we also wanted them to think about how they would produce a virtual presentation. Previously, I've had students produce a video of their presentation and share it amongst themselves, but in this semester, we wanted to use virtual reality technology instead. And the idea was to make them think about the 3D model that they had presented, and then also how that would be different from a flat image to moving towards a 3D image. I think they definitely learn more by doing. It gets them engaged in a subject, and also for a class like public speaking, it almost distracts them because a lot of people are very afraid of giving a speech in public. And so the idea is that if they could use Legos, if they could use tactile materials, and they could focus on that and be really proud about the object that they're presenting, that the speech comes a bit more naturally, that they relax when they give the speech. And then once they've had the successful speech the first time, they'll have that memory for when they have to stand up and they have to give like a high stakes situation and a test.
It's very loosely structured compared to usual classes. Usually students come in, they sit in a desk, and then all they do is listen to the teacher speak, and then we're given some written assignments or some tests. But this is the first time I've ever had a class where there are no formal pen and paper Scantron tests. You come in and your goal is to speak. My grade is to speak, and based off of that. And I think that it's also incredibly important because communication is becoming less required. And I think that especially in terms of the millennials, we're all becoming socially awkward. So that classes like this are extremely important in order to teach people how to properly hold themselves.
Wow. I hope now you can also see, just like me, the future of education. And next week, we'll be visiting a lab, but a different kind of lab of a Japanese professor where he and his students work on this intriguing type of literature called manga. So stay tuned.